Look, I want to tell you something that might surprise you. The most successful people I know, their career paths look super chaotic if you put that down on paper. I'm Joseph. I've made 7 career moves in 13 years. I started off as an industrial designer, creating retail displays for Fortune 500 brands, failed as an entrepreneur, and I mean really failed by losing over 5 figures in income and revenue, and then became a lecturer teaching students who were basically my age and somehow ended up transforming operations at one of Asia's largest banks and then help a startup grow their user base from 900,000 users to 4 million people worldwide. Well, most people might look at that and think, hey, what's wrong with this guy? Can't he stick to anything? But here's what actually happened. I helped save DBS Bank $27 million. That startup that I work with, we doubled their revenue to $10 million in ARR. And now I've helped over 70 professionals land roles that are paying anywhere from $150,000 to $300,000 every single year. Well, that is a completely different game that is happening that most people will never figure out. And I'm going to show you the 3 things that I've learned the hard way that changed everything for me. So the first one, the rule, is the rare combination rule. So picture this. I was walking into DBS Bank for what I thought was going to be my most awkward interview of my life. This is one of the biggest bank in Asia and actually honestly in the world. And right, and marble lobbies and everything was pristine. And I was going to meet up with one of the directors who have 15 plus years in traditional banking experience. Me, I'm just an industrial designer who's failed at starting a company, taught college students for a couple of years, zero banking background, zero financial credentials. And I'm thinking, hey, what am I even doing here? But here's what happened, all right? There were 3 of us interviewing for this role, which is specifically called the Employee Journey Design Coach. Sounds fancy, but it was basically a brand new position for their transformation group. Very experimental stuff. Candidate 1, a HR director with tons of experience, all the right credentials. Candidate 2, a UX research director with also tons of experience in the field. And there is me, this weird mix of industrial design, field entrepreneur, young lecturer, all over the place. And guess who got the job? After I got the offer, I asked the hiring manager straight up, hey, why me? These other candidates have way more relevant experience. And you know what he said? He said that, this role is completely new. We need someone who's adaptable and who can work with uncertainty. Your diverse background makes you a unique team player who can help us solve problems that we don't even know we might have. And that itself really kind of changed me. And that's when it really clicked for me. You see, everyone else is trying to fit into existing categories, but I wasn't competing with them. I was creating my own category. So here's the thing. Your brain gets seasoned differently when you work across different industry. Design taught me how people actually behave. Teaching showed me how to break down complex ideas. Entrepreneurship taught me how businesses really work. And that put together, I could see connections that pure banking people couldn't. But here's what most people messed up. They apologize for their backgrounds instead of owning it. The old way of thinking about it is I know my background looks random, but let me explain. The new way is then positioning and saying something like, my experiences across design, business give me a unique perspective. I can spot user experience issues that most business people miss, and I can understand operational constraints that most designers never consider. Same facts, completely different story. So here's the rule number 2, the story projection rule. So let me tell you about my friend Jeff. This guy has been in UX for over 10 plus years. Really talented. He can create interfaces that are both beautiful and intuitive. But Jeff had this problem that was killing his career. Every single job that he had in the last few years are all under 2 years. Sometimes just a year and a few months. Nothing longer than 2 years. But it wasn't by his choice. You know, startups shut down, projects got cancelled, companies pivoted, and that's how tech works these days. But every interview came with this painful experience where he had to explain himself. So, Jeff, I see that you have several short stints. Are you a job hopper? And he gets all defensive and trying to explain why each move wasn't his fault. So, here's what I realized working with Jeff. The story that you tell about your past becomes the movie that they play in their head about your future. When Jeff said short stints, hiring managers pictured him leaving in 6 months. When we change how he talked about it, rapid impact delivery in high velocity environment, suddenly they start picturing him as the guy who can parachute into urgent problems and get results fast. Same experience, different story, completely different outcomes. So we reframe everything. Those job hops became rapid adaptation across complex environment. Short tenures became ability to deliver maximum impact in compressed timeframes. Multiple companies became cross-pollination of industry best practices. So 6 weeks later, Jeff landed a role at a Fortune 100 company, 210,000 total compensation, not despite of his complex background, but because of it. And here's the insight that changed everything for Jeff. Your career isn't random moves that needs explaining. It's specialized training for problems that has not been invented yet. And here's rule number 3, the intersection advantage rule. So let me tell you about Samantha, a senior UX manager with an impressive resume, companies that you would recognize instantly, the kind that of places that everyone wants to work, years of solid experience, great portfolio, all the technical skills that you could ask for. But Samantha has kept hitting the same wall. She sailed through first interviews, nailed the design challenges, impressed the recruiters, even the hiring managers, but then she got to the final round and then nothing. They said that, we have decided to go with another candidate who was a better fit. What does fit even mean? Here is what hiring managers are really thinking. Sure, she can do the job, but will she actually stay? Does she just really believe in our mission? Or is it just another stepping stone for her? Are we going to invest in her, train her, and get her up to speed only to have her leave in 6 months when something big and shinier comes along? You see, they're not just hiring skills, they're making a bet that you won't force them to restart this expensive hiring process in a year, a bet that you will actually help them to achieve their long term vision. So here's what I realized, right? The top performers, they don't just showcase their experiences or their expertise, they show that they are the least risky option and the most valuable option. So here's what Samantha learned to do. She stopped trying to impress everyone and started identifying companies where her passions align with their problems, places that she could generally say that, I want to spend the next 3 to 5 years solving this specific problem because it matters to me. When you can combine your unique skills and genuine passion for their mission, something magical happens. You're not just another qualified candidate, you are someone who personally invested in their success. Samantha found a health tech company that is working on accessibility issues. She grown up with a disabled siblings and always care about inclusive design and could speak authentically about why their mission mattered to her personally. Again, 8 weeks later, she wasn't just hired, she was brought in as a key team member they planned to build around. So here's the insight for you. Your diverse background doesn't just give you unique skills. It gives you unique reasons to care about specific problems. And when hiring managers see that intersection, your ability plus your genuine passion, you become the obvious choice. So here are the 3 things that have changed everything for me. First, own your rare combination instead of apologizing for it. 2, reframe your transition as cross-functional expertise. And 3, network at the intersection where your unique background creates value. Look, knowing these principles is just the start. You also need to know how to execute them properly. You can understand the strategy, but if your LinkedIn still sounds like everyone else, if your resume doesn't show your unique value, and if you can't articulate what makes you different in interview, you will still struggle. So Jeff didn't change his mindset. He completely transformed how he presented himself. And Samantha didn't just fake her interview's answers. She repositioned her entire professional brand around her genuine passion. So that's why I put together this Power Positioning Masterclass. It's a 90 minutes deep dive that shows you exactly how to translate these insights into a positioning strategy that works. This is the same systematic approach that I used to go from a failed entrepreneur to a banking transformation leader, the exact methodology that my clients use to land those 150K to 300K roles. So what you will get is my complete 8-step positioning system, the LinkedIn optimization and blueprint and templates for powerful resume bullets and real examples from successful transformation. I normally charge 500 plus for this in my private coaching, but I'm going to make it available for $37 because I want to remove every single barrier for professionals who are tired of being overlooked. Your unconventional background isn't your weakness, it's your competitive advantage. And you just need to know how to position it properly. So if you're ready to stop explaining about your path and start leveraging it as your superpower, I will invite you to click on the link below. These strategies you just learned will change how you think about your career, and the positioning system will change how others see you. Your move.